Anna Kasperian blasts wokeism. Is she ditching the left? And I gave it a 2 out of 5. I thought it was fine. It did feel to me like the flavor of. I mean, they mentioned it in the video, like not uh or it's funny. Well, whatever. I was just gonna say the flavor of it felt to me very much like I think they use the word stroking ego, but it felt to me like they were stroking the ego of conservatives, um, where it felt like, and not that this is bad necessarily, is just how it came off to me, and I just didn't find myself particularly interested, or I'm left wanting more, or curious about what their other side is, but it just felt like they were venting on the left and um it's weird that they were like expressing and identifying and positioning themselves as leftists or center leftists, or no, or just like that is how it seemed like they were trying to make themselves appear, or like this is the label I identify with, but all that they were doing was like talking about issues with the left, and in a way it just felt like this is just food and like ego fuel for people on the right to be like, yes, yes, they see it. Even people on the left see it. Even people who are in the middle, people who should be, if you're a centrist, you must be most unbiased and unprejudiced, and if you can see it, then I am right, kind of thing. That's how it tasted to me. That was the flavor I got, and that doesn't like. So for me, that just it was weird having them identify like as center leftists, but like all they spent time talking about was like how terrible the left is. Um, and it left me curious, like, okay, wow, I'm curious why these people aren't like pro Trump, or why they aren't on the right. Like they've got all these issues with the left, and it seemed like the big ones were just how you'll be condemned. You know, to be on the left means you're obliged to take more radical and extreme positions on political issues. And if you don't take those issues, if you try and like share an opinion that to you feels like common sense, you get like shut down, condemned, canceled, thrown out of the tribe kind of thing. Um, and so there's that. Is there one other one I wrote some notes down. Yeah, no, I guess that was a major thing. Um, and so that bothered them a lot about the left, but it wasn't clear to me what about the right that they were so like. Why don't they consider themselves conservatives? What issues do put them on the left? Is it literally just like, uh, you know, um, that the right is anti-LGBT and just straight up, and then also like the right tends to be anti-abortion? Um, are those just kind of the defining issues that like, oh, if the right could just be okay with these, then we would be on the right, we would be for Trump, kind of thing? Is that the difference, or is there something else? Because it was not clear to me at all, like why these people don't put themselves on the right, or why what makes them identify more with the left, or it seemed like they were putting themselves as like center left or center left. That's how it sounded they were trying to put themselves. um, but like I didn't see any part of that represented, as far as like, okay, why aren't you guys on the right if you see things this way? um so that was kind of awkward. That just made it feel like I'm wondering, I don't know. Yeah, it just, I was unsatisfied that that wasn't addressed, and it made me wonder if there was like something behind it, or like, are these people just like I don't even know much about this, and so this is just some issue that's been um I'm somewhat aware of is a thing, and so it's on my mind. It's just on my mind, and I can't even I won't like claim it or accuse it. It was just on my mind for transparency, and it was like, are these people grifting? Are these people just like acting, neutral, or acting like um are they, are they doing this for the views in the audience, and that's why they're talking this way? Or like, yeah, because it just felt like, if you guys really identify this way, why are you just venting about the left, kind of thing? And what is it that you don't like about the right? Because that was not clear at all, and so it made me think, oh, this literally just feels like fuel for like conservatives or people on the right to be like, oh, my opinion is validated. There are, you know, if the enemy, or if the opposition sees things the way I see it, then I must be right, or that just gives me, validation that this is a reasonable view to have. And that doesn't mean, I'm not saying like um that like, because they view these, I'm not saying these views are wrong. It just has that flavor, and that bothers me a little bit, or it just puts me off. Like, I, it just makes me, it just felt weird. But yeah, that was the biggest reaction I had. I don't follow politics. I don't really care about the news, and I don't care to investigate. And I could see that there's value in like, I could sense some resistance, and like, oh, they're talking politically about something, and it almost resembles something that I disagree with, or that, goes against what uh social media influencers who I follow, and whose political views I trust. It goes against what I've heard. And so, oh, I feel some resistance. I'm questioning this now. And when I feel that, I want to remind myself, and I want to humble myself. Hey, I actually haven't done any research. I don't know anything. I am, you know, I'm just blatantly trusting someone, as much as, people on the other side are maybe blatantly trusting, or may have done more research. So who am I to, question, or like just discount this outright? Um, that kind of thing. So I can appreciate that, for that like reminder of humble yourself when, if people express a different opinion on an issue. Like, you don't know, you haven't done the research, you haven't thought things out. So rather than just like identifying something as oppositional to ideas that you trust more, which, come from people that you trust more, but that's where they're more founded, maybe. Reminding myself not to uh like have that resistance, I guess, or just like totally shut down, or like discount their views on, like, if they're saying they mention stuff like, oh, the Ukrainian war, and like what the US was doing, and how, oh, I don't know, sentiments that made it seem like our support and interaction in the Ukrainian war wasn't a good thing, and people I've heard talk about it make it seem like our interaction is a good thing. And so that's where I was like, oh, I can feel myself questioning this. But, it's also something like, that's a perfect example of something I have not researched, so I have no idea. Um, so yeah, anyways, that was just an example. But yeah, that was my reaction. I don't know if there's anything else much to say, but yeah.